All right, how we doing, people? So this is AJ Torres calling strikes. I do got no monitor going on at the moment, but I'm just cooling off. It's my last day away from work, and let's talk some baseball for crying out loud. All right, let's go through the MLB picture and see what's going on. So right now, I find it interesting, but let's start with the AL East. I don't say that as a Yankee fan. I say that as a sports fan. So try and riddle me this. What if I told you, let's see, it's September 7th, 2021. What if I told you that Tampa can win 100 games? What about that? Tampa Bay, the Tampa Bay Rays, can win 100 games this year. It's crazy. But if you look at it, right, they're consistent. The run differential is 175. That is, well, tied for the second highest with the Astros. But if you look at who they play, and we know that the Yankees, well, they choke against them. It's as simple as that. And mind you, their ace has been gone for months. Their best pitcher has been hurt for months. And there's a lot of people saying because of his injury process and the way that the program goes, he may not be coming back. Weird, is it not? Unfortunately, it's just how it goes. So, with that, you got three teams in the wild card. The top three wild card spots at the moment, the way things are going, is the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Blue Jays. So half a game lead over Boston at the moment for the Yankees, and the Jays and the Mariners are 3 games back. Then we got Oakland at 3.5 games back. Now they lost their starting center fielder, unfortunately, to a steroid bust, and no, it wasn't it was an antibiotic steroid. That's what it was. Like, we're talking, you don't take that crap by accident. I look into these cases and I see them like, okay, is this in cough syrup? Is this in a protein shake? No, no. You take this shit deliberately, on purpose, and you know what you're doing. You know what you're getting into. Bottom line, just how it is. So, with that said, we'll see if the Oakland A's can capitalize and find some ground. There isn't much time left, but there's plenty to have others fall. But just remember, for them to advance, they need a lot going for them. They need the Mariners to start falling. The Blue Jays need to back out. And then we got the Yankees and the Red Sox, which who knows with them. The Red Sox are not a bad team. There wasn't a lot of high hopes for them this year. I thought they were a third place team just because of the uh, losses that they had. But then I just wasn't sure if Sale was going to come back extra dominant like he has been. That was another key factor. But literally, the planets have just aligned, centered, and they have a good run in them. They play great baseball. I mean, there's the bullpen issues that have happened over the course of a couple of years, but I think they're all right. The thing that messed them up, and I will talk to simple minds about this many times, just remember this. They will never forgive Bloom for doing nothing at the trade deadline because this was a year, right? The prospects that you were not going to use. Because here's the thing, right? I understand value of players, prospects, but also even guys you don't even need because there's so many guys, right? I'll remember this as a Yankee fan. When Gary Sanchez took the starting job from Brian McCann, they said in the offseason, give him away for cash and a bag of balls. No. We got decent prospects in return. We did. Could have gotten better, but we didn't do too bad. That's just how it goes. But I also know that if you have to get rid of prospects, call it the Rule 5 draft. Call it just doesn't fit the system or the need, or he's not going to have any time on this roster because of the talent we have. Whatever the case may be, there's always going to be a time where you have to either use or unload your prospects. It's a tricky game, and these are why the guys make the big dollars, and I'm sitting here an office chair at a desk. So when I think of the Red Sox, one of the things I've heard was we got plenty of mill relief candidates. Okay, you could trade some of those mill relief candidates that are not going to be called up, and you can find yourself a decent relief pitcher. I was thinking of Rich Rod from the Pirates. The fact that he went to Atlanta, he's a reason why they're winning the division right now. It's just simple. All the guys from Simple Minds and Boston Media will tell you that it is just a hard time, and a lot of them are just pissed. They have 100% just a great reason to be angry. It's not that they are just narrow-minded or it's either win or bust. No, it's not like that at all, actually. Let's see. Try to look up the numbers, but I can't at the moment. Come on, when's the last time he had a game? Come on. You're not gonna give me his last outings? Come on, dude. Just against Colorado. This thing even updated? Come on, MLB. Come on, man. It's the last time he appeared in the game. Like, come on. All right. So, as a Brave, 16 and 2/3 innings, only 10 hits given up, only 2 runs earned. Only 1 home run given up, which I think is important. 4 walks to 6 strikeouts. Not great for a guy who is a closer mentality, but those numbers are just solid. A whip of .84, I like that. 5.4 hits per 9. He just gets the job done. 17 games, almost 17 innings. What more can you ask for? But the Red Sox fans are kicking themselves because they think this is a giant opportunity missed. So if you go by just a couple of games, like when you say, okay, when you trade, look at how many wins added. If we take 5 games, are those 5 games against Tampa? Can they be against Tampa? It's possible. But you know what they say, you can't predict baseball. So even though they're kicking themselves and they call this a rebuilding year, right now they're second place in the wild card spot. And if the Yankees don't win tonight because they've been cold, they'll be first place in the wild card. And that means they will host a wild card game in Boston. And the Yankees do not want that. Playoffs, Boston, 21st century. Yeah, no. That is an absolute no. Now, if you want my prediction here for the wild card game, let's see. Tampa's going to win this division. That's clear. The Astros are going to run away with this division. I think that's fair to say. And as far as the Chicago White Sox, they've been running away from that division all year round. And since the Twins fell apart, there's no hope. No hope for them. Depending on how the AL East does, I think it's going to be at least one AL East team. The Yankees can fall off and bite themselves in the butt. Not the first time it's ever happened. But we shall see. It's going to be interesting as time goes on. I just don't see the Mariners competing in Oakland. I think they'll get close, but I just don't see them getting the second spot in the wild card. I just don't. Gun to my head, what am I thinking? It's going to be a Yankees Red Sox postseason for the wild card. And obviously the winner's probably going to play Tampa. If I had to say what's probably going to happen, and it sucks because I say this as a Yankee fan, but if you just look at the streaks of how this team is, the way that they function, the injuries that have gone on, Loisaga just went down. I'm thinking this is a wild card game. Red Sox hosting the Yankees. Red Sox win. They go play Tampa. And we'll see if Tampa wins or not. But, I mean, the way this is going, if I had to choose a team that I would like to win out of the five, I mean, obviously I want the Yankees to win, but I don't think they will. So that just means that the Red Sox, White Sox, Astros, and the Rays are left. Can I please get a AL pennant from the White Sox? Please. Please and thank you. That'd be great. Now, if I go over to the National League, this gets interesting because there's a lot of people during the trade deadline where I'm just kind of like, buddy, excuse me, what the hell are you doing here? And it depends on what you're chasing. Now, if you're the Phillies, you're not chasing a wild card. You're chasing a division. Some people are going, how does that work? Well, I'll just go by this way. Right now, the San Francisco Giants got 88 wins. The Milwaukee Brewers have 84 wins. Now, mind you, it's September 7, 2021. How many wins did the Atlanta Braves have, first place in the division? 72. Win percentage of .529 versus the other two teams that are in the 600s. The Dodgers got 87 wins. The Padres got 73 wins. The wild card teams, as of right now, have more wins than the National League East team. The Phillies, who are fourth in the wild card race right now, have 71 wins. That is a 2-game difference, record-wise, against the Braves. That could change quick. But if we want to go the wild card picture, let's say the Braves have 5 more wins or so. The Dodgers got 87 wins versus 51 losses. Win percentage is .630. 13.5 games plus for the wild card. That wild card top spot is easily between the Dodgers and the Giants. And I've been saying this since April. Say what the Giants are. They're like the Red Sox where they have a rebuilding program. And there's contracts that are going to be off the books this year. Buster Posey looks like he's in prime form. Cueto isn't getting shelled. He may not be great. He may not be what he was who the Royals trade for. He may not be a Cincinnati Red type player again. But he's not getting shelled. And the bullpen is holding up. Then you add Chris Bryant that's been in there and everybody just going in sync. Brian Crawford's extended. This is madness. Plain simple, simply put, madness. And it's great. I tell you, man, this is just freaking sweet. It really is. So what do we have here? If we go the third, let's go all the way to the 6th spot in the wild card. Because if I go outside of that picture, it's the Cubs. And I think they're out. And I think everybody else would say, why'd you even mention them? Because they would be fifth in the for the teams trying to get to the wild card. Fourth team to get there, well, technically sixth place for the wild card, is the Mets at 69-69. And they're trying to win their division. Because let's just be honest, there is no room in the wild card for a second National League East team. There just isn't. There's not. If you are the Reds and you are the Cardinals, there is no way you are chasing the Brewers. With only September left to go, the Reds are at 73 wins. That's 11 off from the Brewers. And you're 15 wins off if you are the Cards. Mets are 69 wins. The Phillies are 71 wins versus the Braves that have 72. Basically, in a week, that whole National League East division can change. Simply put, it can just change. The Reds, I'm not sure what they are as a team. But the San Diego Bats have been cold for about a month. They were getting no hit. Their offense wasn't showing up. They had Tatis playing the outfield when he really wants to play shortstop. You have Eric Hosmer that cannot field first base, even sometimes just the basics. He is not a great fielder whatsoever. He's just lost it. He doesn't look comfortable there. The lineup's good, but there's been injuries, there's been pitching concerns, and right now the Padres aren't panicking, but they're heavily concerned. And with the Reds on them about the wild card, imagine if the Reds took over the wild card spot. Imagine if the Phillies got hot and they actually were in the trade deadline to get solid pieces. They got themselves another starting pitcher and a closer. And for years, even with Joe Girardi, listen, if you want to go by Joe Girardi, his strength is the bullpen. I've watched him as a Yankee fan. The bullpen is his strength. Now, do I think there's some times where once in a while there's going to be a pitcher at like 70 or 80 pitches getting pulled too early? Yes. Occasionally there is that hiccup, and he needs to be disciplined for. But outside of that, you've seen him flop that bullpen. You've seen him flip it upside down. You've seen him try everything, and you've seen these guys put up ERAs around 7 or 8. Why 6 afraid of 7? Because the 6 will turn into an 8. That's why. You can say 7, 8, 9, but guess what? Those ERAs, I've seen them at 6, 7, and 8. Which is terrible because they've pitched other places and have put up numbers. Call it sticky stuff, but you can't use that excuse if you've been doing it for years. Simply just screwing up the program. Times where you've need your starter to go in 7 innings and give up only 1 run. And in 2 innings, the bullpen loses the game for you. And the offense, even though good, it's hard when you're up against the setup man, the closing pitcher, to make up for 4 runs. Correct me if I'm wrong. Could any one of these teams do it? I'm just going to say the Cardinals, who traded you traded good prospects for rentals to be a team that's not even second in the wild card, or come on, you're third in your division when you did this, and you were going to be third in your division at the end of the year. What was the point of this? Quit spreading your team false hope. We called it in July. We called it in August. And now it's the day after Labor Day. It ain't happening. I'm sorry. The Mets, I think, are asking for too much. And listen, you don't even know what Jacob deGrom is. If he needs Tommy John surgery, get it done. Put him on the shelf. Noah Syndergaard still hasn't been back. And you're asking from a lot of your pitching staff that I just don't know if they could deliver. The Mets can potentially win this division. But listen, The way that the Braves, the Phillies, and the Mets have worked the last couple of years, just like in the NFL with the NFC East, take a hat, throw the names in. You can even throw them in twice if you want to. Throw the names out of the hat. That's basically all I can give you. But I am firm on the Brewers win this division. I'm going to just, if you had to give me a gun to my head, I'm going to say Giants win this division. And the way that I'm looking at this, I did say that the Padres were going to make the playoffs and be the second wild card team to host the Dodgers, and they have beaten the Dodgers before. But they need to get it together, man, because right now they look like crap. So if I had to give my final predictions, this is tough, very tough. But if there is the way that this team's trending down, I just don't see a way out. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. But I'm going to go Giants, Brewers, Phillies, and with the wild card, Dodgers and Braves. I think chances are the Dodgers win the wild card round and they verse the Giants, and anything can happen. If I had to pick a team where I wanted to win out of here, I want to see the Giants do it one more time. That's what I want to see. Now, a lot of people are saying I want the Dodgers to do it in a non-Mickey Mouse year. Of the 3 championships that a lot of people, are going to be watching. Well, technically, if the Dodgers are going to have their 3rd ring for a lot of people, just watching in person. Both the recent, come on. Last 2 World Series were technically in shortened seasons. Call it Mickey Mouse rings, call it whatever. I'd love the Dodgers to win legit, but if I wanted to give an NL pennant winner, I want the Giants. So that would mean a Giants and Chicago White Sox World Series. And I think that would be a great matchup. But I'd have to give it to the Giants. I just do. That's what I would love, in my opinion. But personally, I think it's going to be Giants Rays, and I have no idea how many people are going to watch that game. But I did say this. If the Rays did win the World Series this year, it would be good for baseball. Why? If you noticed about everything that's been going on with baseball, we want $100 million cap floor. Now, do I think some of these free agents are going to end up going crazy demands? Yeah. But guess what? Chances are you're going to get the next free agent hitter, where if that's Bryce Harper caliber, where if they had to put that in place today, you're going to see somebody like Joey Gallo going to Tampa. You're going to see Chris Bryant going to Pittsburgh. I say that because if you're a Scott Boras client, you're going to go wherever the money is, and that's just what matters to him. You want a good agent that cares about your well-being. You know what I mean? So if you're Anthony Rizzo, you know what I mean? You want to see if you could stay in New York if that's possible. Why? Because that's part of his interests. But I do think the Rays would be good for baseball just simply because, listen, if you want the game to grow, if you want the numbers to keep going, I'm not saying put expansion teams in there because people keep talking expansion. Well, you keep talking about championships. You keep talking about integrity. Listen, I don't even think the NFL is ready for expansion. Okay? Just simply because they have some stadiums that are a crap pit. You have some people that aren't buying enough tickets. You got the LA stadiums that are doing horribly, and the fan experience from what I'm hearing is crap unless you've had about half a dozen beers. So when you go by expansion, I want to go what's good for the sport. And I just don't think expansion's good for baseball. Why? Because if you have teams like the Pirates, the Marlins, the Rays, they can even say the A's, especially the Rays because they're trying to figure out what the hell they want to do with location. Until these things are settled, until when you have people going to games, people buy enough merchandise, what are you going to do? You see, people want to do the Field of Dreams because they've watched the movie and they want things to attract. And yeah, they want Yankee fans, and the Chicago White Sox made sense because of the movie. And next year they're doing it. It is a Cubs and Cardinals series. But riddle me this. Now, it was the most watched regular season game in a long time. But question for you. If it was interleague play but American League rules, would the smaller market teams be okay? Would it be okay? Would you be watching the Tampa Bay Rays and the Miami Marlins in a cornfield in Iowa? Would you be like, oh my God, Field of Dreams? Or you'd be like, who the hell wants to watch them? The problem being is that you could only put your eggs into so many baskets. And I understand that a lot of these series, particularly if we go by London, Field of Dreams, whatever, I understand you're going by the Yankees, and it seems like all these big games you go by the market. I understand that when you play in Japan, you want the Mariners there because of their Japanese ties, and Ichiro Suzuki is the man out there. The Aussie series a couple of years back, you wanted the Dodgers there because they were legit contenders across the globe that people recognized. And that was, again, good for baseball. But if you get down to the nuts and bolts, what do you got? You need the teams marketable. And you need these teams to grow if you want to do these events. If you want something held overseas again, if you want to do another London series, listen, you can only do the Chicago Cubs and the Cardinals for so long. I get the history and everything else, but eventually you're going to have those big games against smaller market teams. Why? Because these teams need the publicity, the venue. It's just how it goes. We'll get there one day, but it's going to be a long and tiresome process. And that's all I got for this one. I hope everybody watches this one eventually. This is AJ Torres from Calling Strikes, and have a good one. Take it easy.